Welcome to the tutorial for God of War on the hardest mode. And right here is a rune symbol that you can break. I'm not really showing too much of where those are located, but they're all in this area, so it'll give you a general idea. I want to focus mostly on combat. This is a tough encounter. This one took me several tries because it's these guys are really aggressive. I decided to hose this asshole down for some reason. I'm not sure why I decided to do that, but see, this is the Blessings of Frost runic. That one is really good because see, those waves knock those guys into the pits and do a lot of damage. Plus, I'm getting in the stun arrows regularly, and of course the flock of crows. I summon those as well during all this, and that clears out a lot of the initial guys. I try to get rid of these nightmares because they can become a big problem. And then Atreus, he gets fucked up for a while, so I do end up like running around trying to get him back, so I can use the arrows. But yeah, I use some of these rage boulders here. Pretty much use everything I have for this fight because it's very difficult. I do end up using a resurrection stone, a berserker stone, which gives me another full rage bar that I use as well. And even with that, it was still a tough fight because these guys pretty much in one hit can take out almost all your life. So it can be very difficult. They're very fast and aggressive, and they have projectiles that go through the ground. So you want to be careful when taking on a whole crowd of them. I was trying to switch to my Chaos Blades, but I kept doing 180-degree turns and other shit because I was pressing the wrong direction. It kind of confuses me sometimes when trying to switch. Because sometimes you end up with the weapon unholstered, then holstered, and it's like you swap through a bunch of different shit. I mean, it's my fault, but it's kind of fucking annoying. So yeah, now I had Atreus back briefly. I was using him, but I think he gets taken out for a while. My life is really low, so I kind of just run around here for a while, and I think I eventually end up getting taken out. But I'm able, since Atreus is alive, I'm able to, once he comes back, I'm able to get revived. Otherwise, he won't revive you if he's like preoccupied or damaged or something. He won't do it. So now I finally got my blades equipped, and I try to, do some damage with that. The best thing usually is the 2 light attacks followed by 2 heavy attack. That's a 4-hit combo that does massive damage, and it gets the guys up in the air so you can hit them more and repeat the combo again. So that's usually what I try to do when dealing with crowds using the blades. But see, they can really blindside you because they'll come up on you and hit you even when the camera's not looking at them, so you can get blindsided. But I get some rage here and I use it again. At this point, I have no health pretty much, but I get a little bit back from the rage. But I got some good hits in with the boulders to where there was only one guy left, so I got lucky with that. Otherwise, it would have dragged out for a longer period of time. But at this point, it's easy with just the one guy. So yeah, not too good of a performance on this run, but it was enough to get it done. It's fine to use the Resurrection Stone on this battle because there are no other hard battles coming up. This is the hardest battle in this area. And then you'll get the Blacksmith. The 2 giants, it's a boss. You have to fight 2 giants at the same time, but it's extremely easy. And I'll show how I did that. I just run around and use Atreus' arrows, and that's it. It's very fucking easy. There's really no reason to use a Resurrection Stone on that. I beat that on the first try. So, I mean, it was very easy. So don't worry about using the stone for that fight. Just waste it. The best way to really get rid of these is probably to throw your chain into them and just launch him into a wall or launch him into another enemy. It kills him fast. This is another one of the rune seals or whatever it's called to open the chest. This will give you a general idea of where they are. I don't want to make these videos too long about exploration. I really want to focus on the combat. And then there's another little fight here, but it's very easy. compared to what you just dealt with. It's a narrow area, so you can channel all the enemies into your blade combo. 2 lights and 2 heavies, and then just use a shitload of arrows in between strikes. And the crows. And that's what I recommend using. But it shouldn't give you any problem. It's the same hard enemies, there's just not as many of them, and they're all crammed into a hallway, so you can just beat the shit out of them pretty much. And of course you can grab the nightmare here and then throw it at the enemy. And that does a lot of damage. It seems to do a lot of stun damage too, so it's a useful way to deal with the nightmares. You know, grab them and then throw them into the enemies if you can. I could have done that on the other encounter as well, and it probably would have been pretty effective, but I just didn't do it. I think I did it on previous attempts, but not on the one where I actually succeeded. Yeah, so now there's 2 giants that come here, and this is super fucking easy. You just got to be a little bit patient, but it doesn't take that long. I waste my rage anyway, you know, because I don't really know what to expect with the fight. And I don't really care about saving it up anyway, because I have the rage talisman. I can just generate more rage between fights. Not really a big deal. So, you know, the axe throws are pretty worthless. I mean, I fucked around a little bit with that. One of them is red, and you can only attack him with the axe. The blue one you can only attack with the blades. But you don't have to worry about any of that bullshit. All you got to do is just, you know, use the electric arrows, especially if you have him upgraded. You know, his arrows do a lot of damage by this point. So, you really do not have to play skillfully to beat these 2 enemies at all. And like I said, if I don't have to bust my ass on a fight, I'm not going to do it. You know. Sometimes I find aggression to be the easier way to play at this point in the game, because with all the abilities and powers I have at this point, you know, sometimes it's just easier for me to be aggressive and take guys out fast before they cause problems. In the early game, when you're weak, that didn't work so well for me, you know, so I used a lot of axe throwing tactics and running away and shit like that, you know. But as I got, you know, also more proficient with the game and had a lot more abilities and shit to use, you still do take a lot of damage, but, I mean, you don't usually get one hit killed like you did in the beginning of the game. So, in some ways it's easier. Definitely have a lot more tools to fuck around with. But yeah, this is very easy. For some reason, they don't seem to ever take Atreus out, so he'll just, you know, you can just constantly shoot at these guys. And if you have other runic powers that you want to use, you can use them, but, I mean, you don't really have to. They will start to, like, put darkness over the entire area, so, you know, but it's still extremely easy. Just face their general direction and keep shooting arrows. Just be aware that when they use the darkness, they will pop out of the darkness and they can hit you with a very powerful move. So just keep moving in the same way you have been, and, you know, you'll end up dodging them. It's not really a problem. See, the blue guy doesn't take damage from the axe, so you got to use the blades. He's the only one left at this point. But of course you don't have to use any melee weapons at all for this fight, as shown. But yeah, that finishes him off. Very easy. And after this, I decided to show some of the backtracking I did, because this is the end of the combat, so you can go ahead and skip ahead if you want. But I decided, you know, to show some of the backtracking. Since it's the end of the video, it's not really going to get in the way, so, you know, figured I'd show some of the backtracking, give you a general idea where the runics are. You saw where they were, the first 2 runics that I showed, to give you a general idea where they were. They're in those chambers, and one's at the top of one of those trap rooms, but I'm sure you've already seen that. And the last one is actually in the final room where the actual chest is. So if you got those 2, then you just need to get to the chest and then turn back around, you know, in the opposite direction of the chest. You'll see the other one. You just throw the axe at it. But you'll see how to get there now. This is the main room, so you'll have no problem navigating if you watch this. So yeah, you get some grips that I don't find useful. I probably will never use. You do get a Chaos Blade Flame upgrade, though, from killing those guys, so that's great. Definitely be very useful. And in this chest coming up, you're going to get an apple, which, can extend your health bar. In my case, I was looking around to try to find the rooms, but in my case, I had 2 apples, and I needed a third one. So this actually gives me my second apple, so I still need another one to get another upgrade, but it's good to get them, because the more health you have, obviously, it's going to give you a chance to live longer in this mode. But yeah, if you just follow this path from, you saw where I started in the main open area, just follow that path and go in these areas, and you'll find the final chest. So that's all I left this here for, just show where it's at. It'll be interesting to see how some of the later parts are. I think the Magni and Modi fight's probably going to be the hardest boss fight for me. But we'll see. I think there's still a final boss. I didn't even realize that the 2 trolls were bosses, because I went through them so easily on normal. And I went through easily on this mode too, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, I never thought of them as bosses for whatever reason. I thought the game had like 3 bosses. The dragon, Magni and Modi, and the final boss. That was kind of how I saw it. But yeah, I kind of forgot about the trolls, that they were cycled so many fucking times. That was one thing I didn't like, is just the lack of ideas with using those large trolls so often. The smaller ones are cool to use, because at least you can ride them and use them against the other enemies. That makes the battles exciting, so I don't mind seeing those guys. But the larger ones were pretty fucking lame. They gave them some different attacks, but I mean, they were just slow fights. They take a lot of hits. I don't remember exactly what's left, but I do remember there's some hard parts left. The part on the ship I remember giving me a lot of trouble on normal, so where you have to protect. You kind of have to protect certain areas of the ship so they don't get destroyed. So I'm thinking that's going to be hard on this mode, but I'm not sure yet. Until I play it, I won't know how hard it's actually going to be. On normal, I didn't do any side activities really or anything. I didn't really pay that much attention to the combat because I didn't need to. I was going to save all that for when I played this mode. But yeah, in here will be the chest with the apple. I still wasn't sure where the last seal was that I had to break. So I was looking around trying to see where it was, but it ends up being in here. So yeah, it's very easy to get once you get in here. I was still looking around trying to see if there was, if I missed it. Because at this point I felt like I had pretty much looked around the entire area. So I thought, I suspected it might be in here with the chest. And then we'll see, when you turn around, you'll see it. It's inside one of those crushers. See, there it is. So just wait for your chance to hit it, and and that'll be it. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll try to make some more progress soon and post up some more videos. I haven't been playing games as much lately, but I've kind of been switching between games. I took a break from God of War. But stay tuned, and thanks again.